constituency in regard to conservation. In Chama we have Komako. I think Komako is very visible anywhere in Zambia. They are trying to promote the sustainable way of farming. So Komako has been engaging the communities, poachers, nanny poachers, so that they can run away from poaching and engage in productive agriculture. If you go to shopping malls today, ShopRite, Pick and Pay, you find that there's that Chama rice, wild. Yeah. That is being processed by Komako. So Komako will buy rice from the farmers, so that instead of farmers, people engaging in poaching, they engage in agriculture. So Komako is doing very, very fine, although we have an increasing number of man-animal conflict because of course, increasing animal population. Apart from Komako, we have also biocarbon partners, which is doing quite a lot. Also, they are in the conservation of forest and also wildlife, and also giving incentive to farmers that instead of using chemical fertilizer, they must be able to use organic fertilizer. We also have Frankfurt Zoological Society. I think this is an organization from Germany which is operating in about 18 countries. So it is also helping very much in terms of promoting ecosystems, conservation, and so on. So I think my constituency is well blessed because we have got all these stakeholders who are working, ensuring that we migrate to a green economy. All
right, Honorable, how is Zambia faring in realizing SDG 15, Life on Land, and through which initiatives as a ministry?
Zambia is trying. We want to come up with strategic plans, especially biodiversity strategy and action plan to mainstream international best practices. Mostly we need actually to intensify on sensitization of the entire country for people to understand that nature is key. We can live with nature in harmony if we sustain it. Zambia is trying by all means, and as a country, we are working in collaboration with other ministries to come up with strategies on how we can sustain ourselves and also keep our nature.
What are some of the initiatives that you would want to share with our viewers and our listeners out there that the ministry is implementing in realizing SDG?
Not even a long time ago, we have been to Chisamba farm where we have adopted a system from America, coming up with the organic fertilizer. Of course, it takes 9 months. This is leaves, cow dung, anything that you think is useless, you bring it, compose it. But if you do it on a monthly basis for 9 months, it is proving to be better than chemical fertilizer. That alone does not kill these microorganisms, but chemical fertilizer kills microorganisms which are so helpful to the fertility of the soil. Before, you are still young, but as we were born earlier than you, we used to have our own type of maize. You grow today, tomorrow you have a seed to plant, and you still have the same yield. But today, this one out of fertilizer, you plant it today, you get a seed, you will not get the same yield. Meaning, our soils are being contaminated.
But what are you doing as a minister and also as a
These are the research. This is the research we are carrying on. Should we continue with fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, or we take an option? we have to intensify research in this area so that it will be cheaper for a common person, and also the yield will be sustained, and the nature also is maintained for future generations.
Okay. All right, interesting. The number that we are using, if you wish to participate on today's program, is 0978772801. Shortly, I'll be able to read your text messages, so keep sending those text messages. The number is 0978772801. And we're having a very interesting discussion, and we're looking at Sustainable Development Goal number 15, which is life on land. So very interesting and insightful contributions that are coming from my panelists this morning. Belinda, I would want to comment on what Honorable Mtacha and the Honorable Minister talked about.
But before that, the other issue was planting of trees through Minister of Green Economy.
Okay.
We are supposed to plant trees. One, you have heard about roofs for clinics, schools being blown off. The reason is simple. Because those areas haven't got trees to protect them from strong winds.
Okay.
We are also encouraging, that's how we work now with other ministries. Water, the pollution. These are under other sectors, so we have come together to find means and ways how we should address. Most importantly, is you have to sensitize the community, the local people. Why is it important to have a tree around you? What benefits can you get out of it? That is only secreting in offices, but it's not going deep into the minds of our local people.
Okay.
What benefits can we get out of that? That's what we need now to implant into our local communities.
All right.
It's very important.
Yeah. Belinda, from UNDP, going by your position,
Yes.
How do you assess and identify a risk related to social and environmental aspects in programs related to SDG 15?
Thank you, Posset. That's very critical. It's a very critical question in the sense that, risk assessment helps us to identify the opportunities, but also the dangers that will come in implementing certain programs. And so when you look at SDG 15, it's called, like you mentioned, it's called 15 indicators that we have to achieve by 2030. And for all the programs that we need to do in the country, there are a number of processes that we need to undertake. And one of them is to ensure that the developmental principles are embedded in the program. So you assess, how does this program or this project that we need to embark affects the developmental principles? And when you talk about the principles, like, for example, what UNDP recommends is that we integrate the leave no one behind, okay? We ensure that whatever programs have the aspect of gender equity, women empowerment, we ensure that there's accountability, we ensure that there's resilience and transparency. So all those aspects, we need to ensure that they are part and parcel of the programs that we need to embark on. But most importantly, before I forget, the issue of human rights. How is the program going to protect the human rights? And this relates also to what the Honorable from Chairman mentioned of human-animal conflicts. When you're developing all programs, you need to ensure how our programs will respect the needs of people, but also at the same time, how do we preserve the animals? How do we preserve the natural resources? So that's one aspect that you look at when assessing risk. And secondly, you also look at specific project standard risks. So these have to do with, in our own setup, UNDP, we've got 8 standards. And this number 1 is about biodiversity conservation, natural resource management. And then standard number 2 is relates to climate change risks. So this risk will be able to provide the standards, things that you're supposed to look out for when developing a project. If there's any aspect that you know will affect the, these standards, you have you come up with mitigation measures. But most importantly, we use the prevention approach. We try to advocate for programs that will prevent any harm happening to our environment and the communities. Okay, and then in all that also, when relates to SDG number 15, you look at the cultural beliefs of the people. So you find that each setup, each community will have a certain attachment to a certain natural resource. It could be an animal, it could be the gravesite, it could be a natural tree. How do they attach themselves? Those are the risks that we actually look at and guide us what we need to do in a particular area and in a particular project. But also in all these processes, we have a very good environmental regulations in Zambia, and these provide the standards that projects need to undertake, need to follow. So when you evaluate each project one by one, looking at the Environmental Management Act, you look at the Water Management Act, you look at the forest regulations and all those. They'll give you the guidelines that you need to undertake to make sure that you avoid any risk, but also you advance any opportunities that those projects will actually come with.
Earlier on, I did ask the Honorable Minister how Zambia is faring. Now, from the UNDP point of view, how would you rate Zambia in the region, the SADC region?
Yes, I think as a country we are behind in terms of attainment of the SDGs overall. Okay, and this came from the, so in 2020, Zambia did the voluntary review report, and from that report indicated that we are behind in terms of attainment of the SDGs. Of course, it indicated that in terms of SDG number 13, which is climate change, we've made some progress. But certain SDGs, like SDG number 15, we are really behind. And it's actually, the report says we've been stagnant. We haven't made concrete progress, you see. And also there are certain SDGs that really haven't really been realized. And looking at the time, we're really behind and we need to do much more. Now, coming to what has made us to lag behind, there are many factors. But key to this is the issue of climate change. Climate change has affected in the manner that we could have, realized our SDGs. You've seen what is happening. Maybe we haven't experienced much more, but our neighboring countries like Malawi, we've had floods that we experienced last year that we saw really affected them. And this is close to home. And we have also recorded some floods in certain areas of the country. And this has affected the SDG number 15. And also issues of finances. We have been a little bit limping when it comes to funds to enhance sustainable development goal number 15.
All right. We'll get to the challenges, because I do have some questions that to do with some of the challenges that the country is facing in realizing SDG 15. Now, let me move on to Chama North and your constituency. How does your constituency approach land use planning to ensure it aligns with sustainable development goals? Honorable, especially in terms of preventing land degradation, because whatever we're talking about has to do with land.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I think it must also be realized that we are addressing this matter very, very seriously as the Chama North constituency. And I think it is important for the people to note that Chama was actually classified as a game management area in 1947 by the Game Management Act of 1947. And I think as members of parliament, both Honorable Mgando and myself, where I think the issues of man and animal conflict are very prominent, and the people have been advocating that I think there's need maybe to amend this particular act so that there are certain areas which are not occupied by animals. So the entire district actually is having these challenges because it has been classified as a game management area. So as a member of parliament, we are working in collaboration with the government departments such as the Department of Wildlife, the Forestry, local authorities, the district commissioner's office, in partnership with the three stakeholders, Comaco, Frankfurt Zoological Society, biocarbon partners. With this collaboration, we are working together, trying to ensure that we raise awareness to our people so that they can engage in sustainable agriculture and also conserve wildlife. Currently, I think Chama District is working on a 10-year plan on the land use in collaboration with these stakeholders such as the Ministry of Tourism and so on. So for Chama, we want to ensure that we align with sustainable development goals, especially in terms of preventing land degradation and making sure that areas which are free from man-animal conflict, such as Chief Mulilo, Chief Chivale, these are areas which are a food basket for the district. So I think there have been a lot of policies which have been tailored to ensure that we protect our environment and wildlife.
Honorable, the biggest challenge that you face as a ministry is to do with pollution and deforestation. And earlier on, you did briefly talk about deforestation when it comes to achieving SDG 15. And it makes life for a number of species very miserable. Now, what mechanism is your ministry putting in place to address this growing problem? Issues to do with deforestation and pollution.
I've listened carefully that Zambia were behind. And indeed, it's lack of capacity for us to bring everyone on board. As a ministry, we want actually to do a revision of the 2015 National Biodiversity Strategy and also update it. We need actually to swing not just mere planning, but into implementation, and also involve everyone.
Okay.
You see, when we are hit with the HIV, everyone was involved, was on board, whether educated or not. The same thing with COVID-19, where people, lives were being lost. But when it comes to sustainable development, people are relaxed.
Yeah.
They just leave it anyhow until we are hit, like it was happening in Malawi, Mozambique. That's where now we want to prepare our minds and address it. As a ministry, we want to come up with strategies that can prevent certain happenings that will reduce the lifestyle of a human being. Mind you, population is increasing every day, and we have no clue to what will happen tomorrow. Issues of flooding, issue for drought, how do we address them? Don't forget wildfires. Well, these require finances, require education, require concentrated effort, everyone on board. The way we are scared about COVID-19 is the same way we should be scared about these dangers. As a ministry, we have to swing into action, work with the other organizations, UN organizations, to implement, domesticate what is planned at world level and bring it at the country level.
Do we have enough time, Honorable, looking at, we are under 7 years before these SDGs come to an end in 2030, and looking at what we've heard and also the Vienna report that was given in New York, how Zambia is performing, we've heard that SDG 15 has been stagnant for quite some time. So how can we re-energize the drive so at least we can achieve something compared to other goals as a ministry, because you are the custodian of this goal?
Thus, involving all ministries, all stakeholders have to be on board. It's not about running out of time, it's now taking right steps to address the situation. If we rush, we shall leave many gaps. We need to be stable and bring all stakeholders to address what is happening now, what is likely to happen tomorrow, through sensitization, through collaboration.
Okay. Belinda, how do we involve the stakeholders and local communities in helping realize SDG 15? But before you respond,
Yes.
I need to encourage our viewers that the number that we're using, very shortly we'll be able to read some of the text messages that you've been sending. The number is 0978772801. But still, you can also go to our Facebook, the National Assembly of Zambia. Like that page and let us know where you're watching us from. So far, I have Diaz Davis Mulenga. You are saying you're watching from Lusaka. I also have Naomi Muvesa. You are on the Copper Belt, Mufrila to be precise. Maybe you can respond my earlier question that I posed.
Yes. So stakeholder engagement is very critical. In all programs, stakeholder engagement, you cannot overemphasize the role stakeholders play in development. Starting from the communities, governments, civil society, community-based organization, we need to take part in the fight to achieve sustainable development. And so stakeholders cannot be engaged if they are not informed, one. They cannot participate if they are not aware. So the first step to ensure that stakeholder engagement is effective is to make them aware of what is happening, one, and raise capacity. How do they participate in advancing SDG number 15? I like what Honorable has said. We have been so scared about COVID-19. We've been so scared about HIV/AIDS. But when you see issues to do with environmental issues, we are all dealing with the effects, the impacts. How do we manage the diseases, the pests that come with agriculture and all that? But we neglect the root causes of climate change. We are so fast to deplete the little natural resource that we have because we are in a hurry to gain the economic gains. So from the onset of every intervention, from the onset of every project, we need to engage stakeholders at all levels. The communities need to be aware of what is happening, what their role is. And in most cases, the challenge has been that efforts will be left to the government to take up everything. We forget that you and I have got a role in ensuring that we meet our targets. And the target, actually, to achieve that target, it starts with us. So stakeholders are very key in project implementation, in risk management, and like the Honorable has mentioned, and I've also mentioned that we have very good policies, we've got very good strategies that have been set up. And recently, the government launched the NDC implementation strategy. It's a very good document, but the challenge would be how do we make sure that we realize what is stipulated in the document? And for us to do that, we need everyone to be made aware of what needs to be done. So capacity building at all levels is very key. We need to be talking to each other, government institutions. We need to stop working in silos.
How can we break the perception which is out there, thinking that SDGs are owned by the United Nations? Very little comes from that's the perception which is out there. Very few people do understand and appreciate these SDGs, and people think that it's an UN program. But how do you make sure that the Zambian government, the Zambian people, they own these sustainable development goals?
Yeah, I think really the UN has tried to simplify these SDGs, and in different capacities, different ways, they've tried to build capacity with government institutions, but also talking from UNDP's perspective, we've had programs that have engaged communities to build capacity, to make sure that they understand what SDG number 1 says, what SDG number 2 says, number 13, number 15. And so I think it's an issue of, like I said, making aware of these SDGs and simplifying them to say it's something that is doable. it's attainable.
Do you think it's the approach? Because these sustainable development goals, it cuts across
Yes, true.
various ministries.
Yes.
If you talk of SDG 15, which is life on land, there is environment.
Yes.
There is Ministry of Water as well
Yes.
involved. Is it the reason why certain ministries feel like detached from, and then we just leave them like they don't belong to any ministry?
I think it's an issue of talking to each other quite often. We engage each other and see how best can we contribute to this SDG as individual ministries.
All right,
I
before I move to Honorable Mtachalo, let's get to our inbox and see some of the 3 text messages that we received. Those of you that have been sending those text messages, the number that we're using if you wish to be part and parcel of this interesting discourse that we're having this morning is 0978772801. Let's head into our inbox and read some of your comments. This one comes from Anon. Minister, you need to come to Siavonga and see how the district has been deforested. I hope Honorable Dr. Muchimade are taking notes. They need you in Siavonga. Another Anon. Good morning, everyone. We are enjoying the program. Simvula Kalaluka from Mungu. Thank you so much, Simvula. Let's see another text. Good morning, panelists. Thank you for your good information. Lumezi is listening, William Nyirenda. Thank you so much, Nyirenda, for that contribution. So keep sending those text messages. The number is 0978772801. Honorable, they need you in Siavonga. Serious deforestation.
You see, this conflict of climate change against livelihood, survival, and political will. I would say political will is there, but we have no means. You cannot tell a person stop cutting trees for charcoal because it's providing energy and it's providing resources for soap and what have you. Yeah. Especially at the time when schools, there was this PTA payments, this and what have you. Parents had a struggle to look for money to pay for their children. This government has quickly addressed that by making education free up to grade 12. Major danger is cutting trees for charcoal, for business, because people want to survive, want to make money, and also not necessarily for energy. For energy is not so much, but sustaining life economically, in terms of money. Wherever direction I drive, I see a bicycle carrying 5-6 bags. Every day, you must know that a tree is being cut every day. And now, even those ones growing, we don't even means to protect small trees to grow into big ones. Wildfire can come in, we don't have even to protect. We are always waiting for the world UN to come and teach us methods. And yet, we can even apply it on our own, culturally. How do we do that? We need to involve communities at that level to be part and parcel of the program. Siavonga, yes, look at it is hilly. You can't cultivate. Mostly, people want to depend on charcoal. And it's livelihood. How do we mitigate that? Move away from charcoal. We have to bring in our technology, cheap source of energy, cheap source of financing. How do we make it that why this government today is increasing the CDF so that people now concentrate on programs that will move them away from the traditional tree cutting for sustainable livelihood.
Okay. All right, let's engage Honorable Mtachalo. Maybe we heard a question there from our viewer or listener out there to do with deforestation, and the Honorable Minister has talked about the issue to do with charcoal. People, they want to sustain themselves by engaging in means that to reverse the strides that the country has made in terms of realizing goal number 15. Now, Honorable, what steps are being taken to promote sustainable agriculture and forestry practices within your constituency, which is Chamba North?
Thank you very much, Person. I think The issue which the minister raised is a very, very critical issue. If you look at the poverty levels, I think have been increasing. So we're trying by all means to encourage by working together with other stakeholders to ensure that we practice, we continue to practice sustainable way of agriculture. I think I remember those days when we were growing up during the Kaunda days in primary school. From grade 1, grade 2, we were able to, plant trees. But nowadays, you find that that is not happening in schools. So with this challenge we are having, the issue of climate change, I think we need to take really radical measures. Otherwise, we are going to be in trouble. The issue of climate change will catch up with us. Those long days, some time back, you find that by 15th November, we were planting, and maize was already somewhere there. But nowadays, up to this time, for example, in Chama, we haven't even started planting, and tomorrow is 1st December. So the situation is quite serious, and I think we have to appeal to the rich nations. The rich nations are the people actually who have polluted the environment. They have attained high industrialization. But now they are telling us, no, you must not do ABCD. You cannot do ABCD. You cannot industrialize. So with the high poverty levels, I think I want to make an appeal to the rich nations that they must come on board and help us so that we can practice a sustainable way of agriculture. If you look at the accessibility to electricity today, it's very low in Zambia. And that's why people now depend on charcoal burning. So I think we have a huge challenge. For example, in Chama North constituents, we have a challenge of illegal logging. So for me, I feel that the Ministry of Green Economy must be well funded. When I go in certain chiefdoms like Chief Muliro, Chief Chivale, there is a serious depleting of our forests. And the people who are depleting our forests mostly are coming from Tanzania. One time, when I was touring the wards, I found that there was many trucks which loaded the Zambian timber going to Tanzania. So I think there is need that the Department of Forestry and the Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of Defense must work together and combat some of these vices. I think it is also important that I remember long time ago during the Kaunda days, we used Penda Maura those days. But this time, if you go to the Forestry Department in Chama, they have got no vehicle. So you are wondering how are these officers going to combat these vices. So really, I think the challenge is quite huge. But by working together with several stakeholders, I'm sure we'll be able to overcome some of these challenges.
All right, we go to our inbox on our Facebook page, and Rejoice Hamambwe, you're saying you're watching from Kapiri. Why are these organizations more in urban areas, forgetting the rural areas where there is still life to be preserved? And the other one comes from Kunda Oswald Mwamba. You're saying Kapiri here watching you on Facebook. Thank you so much, Oswald Mwamba, for watching. Chodoka Mfuni, you are watching from Lundazi. Thank you so much. So let us know where you're watching us from. You can also send in your question or contribution using our Facebook platform, the National Assembly of Zambia. Better still, you can also make use of our SMS line, that's 0978-772801. Remember, this program is also on radio and television. Now, Honorable, how can we engage an ordinary Zambian, making them understand and appreciate SDG 15?
This is what I've already mentioned, that we need to have a spirit of togetherness of the society approach. We need to include local communities in decision making, and also avail them the literature about the importance of taking care of their being. Because we're always waiting to be told by UN agencies, by those abroad. We do not involve them personally themselves. And if at all we also put a value, for example, to a tree. Let me come to scrap metal. When there was no value to scrap metal, with the recycling of metal, the whole country was littered with scrap anywhere. But the moment they put value to it, people go with the wheelbarrows looking for scrap. And I will tell you that you can move from here to Cheston, you won't find any scrap. One is cleaning the environment. Two is bringing income to people. If we put value to a tree, we put value to water, we put value to anything around what we're talking about, biodiversity, you will see how the whole country will change. You say, if you keep your tree up to this level, you'll be earning so much.
When are we seeing such brilliant ideas, Honorable?
That's what I'm saying. We need to come together. We need to bring our heads together as ministries. The whole society. Let's stop fighting politically and whatever. There should be time for elections, and there should be time for developmental actions. We need to be involved. If we put value to anything economically, these two timbers, that's value. We need to find a meaning to it. And then just go. I've heard from Kapiri that where concentration is in urban areas. Yes, especially UN agencies. They would want to go into these peri-urban areas than in deep rural areas where poverty and what have you, where people really need the knowledge. These are programs which we need to roll out into the deep areas. My colleague who comes from a rural constituency like me, it's difficult. Even these W1 development committees, they don't understand. That's why we find even councils manipulate councillors. It's lack of knowledge. We need to have TVs, radio programs, everywhere. We need to repeat. Look at programs in the UK. One issue will be repeated many times because maybe somebody missed it. He will pick it. And sensitizing people. I come back to HIV. Today you can talk about HIV. Everyone knows about it, whether educated or not. Talk about COVID-19. Everyone knows about it. The same thing to conserve nature. What are the benefits today? We let it sink in the mind of a person, starting from a baby. Children, something that you learned when you were 3 years old, you can't forget. But we have detached ourselves from it. Let's be part of the society, not Lusaka and Ndola Livingstone, but Chama, Kerenyi, Chavuma, Biombe, the whole society. Let's bring it together.
I'll engage you in to find out where these projects are taking place, because you did talk about some of the projects that they're implementing as UNDP, and just to appreciate, so at least we respond to the text that came from Kapiri Poshi. Let's go to our inbox and see how many text messages that we have. We do have a set of 4, and the first one reads, we are enjoying this program. Thank you, Mama Chola Kaoma, for us to learn more on this program through interpreting for deaf people. From Jeff. Thank you so much. Talking about the sign language interpreter that we have there, it's like our colleagues are also following through. This one reads, good morning, it's Shepherd here in Chipata. I think we should emphasize on the regrowing of trees, no matter the case. Yes, people are making money, but it does not cost money to replant trees. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shepherd. Two more. Good morning, presenter, and morning, the panel. Honorable Minister of Lands, do you partner with NGOs that are supporting the projects? We are dropping a letter to your office, and do you provide the places where the trees may be planted? Apostle Prince, have a blessed day. Thank you so much. I hope, Honorable, you've taken note of those questions from the Apostle there. The other one reads, good morning, the government should engage the locals in sensitizing them to what goes to take, encouraging them to invest more in agriculture and aquaculture in these same trees they find animals. How safe are the animals? That's Isaac should be Mulilo from Kalabo. Thank you so much, Isaac, for that text message. Honorable, do you want to quickly comment on those text messages?
Except that we have not also broadened ourselves in terms of partnering with the communities. You see, we should use these drama clubs, even in schools, including even churches, to spread the good news on how to conserve nature. Yes, my ministry, lands and natural resource, supposed to be, natural resource there is for policies, because we cut across other ministries, water, green, tourism, local government, and mines. We are supposed to come up with a strategy that will work together, and each one must function very, very effectively and make a connection with best practices that are expected. We have not expanded ourselves to the locals to partner with the people. Yes, we always say, to catch a thief, send a thief. Let's use the locals themselves. And that's what we are already trying to do in my ministry. Already there is this Ubuntu program headed by Dr. Mwanza, Bupe Mwanza. There have been other ministry, and also there are some organizations that are coming. But we need to spread out in rural areas. And then we partner with them so that we can, implement what we are talking about.
Somebody was asking about bringing an application for tree planting. Tree
planting, I'll direct that one to Ministry of Green Economy. They should take it to Ministry of Green Economy. That is supported. Because as government, we are one. We act collectively. Whether it's even if it comes to my office, I'll direct it to the right ministry. As I say, we collaborate our actions.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Belinda, we want to comment on the text messages that we received so far.
Yes, I think responding to the implementation of projects in the rural areas, I think on part of the UNDP, we are really being guided by the concept of leave no one behind. And in our programming, we really try to include the marginalized, the vulnerable. Currently, we are running a project in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture in 16 districts. And Chamasa is one of the districts that is benefiting from that project, strengthening climate resilience in agriculture. And we've gone through to Senanga, Shangombo, and all those districts. And our target really is to reach to the most vulnerable, the women, the unemployed, and all that. So really, we are really trying by all means to make sure that we don't leave anyone behind, but also in terms of engagement of communities and even the vulnerable, in part to take part in protecting the environment. Under the same project, we have established what we call the Environmental and Social Safeguard Committees that are working together with the ministry and other UN agencies to protect the environment as they implement the project. And these have proven to be very effective, because from grassroots we are able to get the grievances that the communities are having in terms of how UNDP or how the ministry is affecting the environment. And so from there we are able to identify what risks have been left out in the design stage. And so those are the strategies that the UNDP is also trying to encourage. But also we have a number of applications. There's been a call of applications for an initiative called the Great Green Initiative that UNDP is running together with another UN agency called UNOPS. And there's been some grants that are given to communities, those that have got concepts or projects that will, preserve the land and preserve the natural resources.
All right, so we only have about 4 minutes to wind up the program. We do have a live committee coming up at 09:30. Let me move to Honorable Mutachalo. You are a member of a very critical committee here at Parliament, and this is the Committee on Agriculture, Lands and Natural Resources. Can you maybe just provide an overview of your committee's current initiatives and activities related to SDG 15?
Yeah, I think as the Committee on Agriculture, Lands and Natural Resources, I think we have been engaging a number of stakeholders, the Minister of Green Economy, and other stakeholders in the agriculture sector on the need to conserve the environment and ensure that our people practice sustainable methods of agriculture. I think as a committee, we have made several suggestions, I think, to the executive. Because if these suggestions we are making as a committee are not taken into account and implemented by these government agencies, we may have a bigger problem in office. Okay. So indeed, I think so far we are working well with the government departments and also civil society organizations.
Okay. Please.
So I think in the nutshell, we need the support from National Assembly. I think our objectives are quite very wide, so we'll need the support from the National Assembly in terms of funding so that we are able to engage with a number of these stakeholders so that we can achieve sustainable...
As we wind up, Honorable, under a minute, how can members of Parliament contribute to the realization of SDG 15, land, life on land?
I think members of Parliament have got a huge task. We represent people in the constituencies. So every time I think when Parliament adjourns, I think it is important that when we go in the constituencies, we must be able to raise awareness, because some of these issues is purely because of ignorance. People don't know that when you cut down trees, it will affect the environment. To them, they think that it's life as usual. So indeed, I think as members of Parliament, we have got a task to ensure that let's sensitize our people, let's use community radio stations and relay this information by working together with several stakeholders. I'm sure if we intensify these awareness programs, I think we'll be moving forward as a country.
Ms. Miti, is this goal attainable by 2030 as we conclude?
I would say no progress is too small. Let's do what we can. I'm sure 7 years is a good time. We can do much more within 7 years, provided we, we engage everybody. We have finances to march towards attaining this goal.
Honorable Doc, as we conclude, is this goal attainable?
Yes, it's attainable if we are serious about it. I'm happy to hear that they're having grants for innovation to sustainable development. We need that to be seen in rural areas. And pertinently, we've talked about Member of Parliament. Member of Parliament is key. Yeah. Because he interacts with the people every day. Unless if you don't want to be voted again. But any serious Member of Parliament interacts with the people at the ward in the village. And the people expect a Member of Parliament to explain. Like she has already talked about the grants. Me being a Member of Parliament is part being a minister. I have to knock on her door because I want these grants to go to my area.
In
Ikeleng, for sure. She doesn't even know that those sweet pineapples, honey and everything's coming from there. We need best methods so that people can stop cutting trees. I mean, cooperating partners are doing a great job, especially in my ministry. They have released some money, but it takes our own personnel how to utilize that money. This program is encouraged and we should continue with it so that people are aware about the dangers and the benefits of our community.
Honorable, I must say thank you so much for waking up early and be part and parcel of today's program where we're looking at Sustainable Development Goal number 15, which is life on land. We're humbled.
Thank you.
All right, Belinda Miti, thank you so much, and pass our regards to the United Nations, and thank you for waking up early. Chama
you.
North as well. I hope next year we'll have less animal conflict issues on the floor of the House. So appreciate for waking up early and have this interesting discourse with us. All right, there you have it. That's for today. We were looking at a very interesting goal, which is goal number 15, life on land. My guest was Honorable Dr. Elijah Muchima, MP, Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. I also had Mr. Yotam Mutachalo, MP for Chama North constituency. We also had a representative from the United Nations family, and this is Ms. Belinda Miti. She is a Program Risk Analyst, Social and Environmental Standards from the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. My name is Paul Sentendovi. On behalf of the sign language interpreter, Chola Kauma, and the entire production crew, and indeed not forgetting you, our viewers and our listeners. We'll be back next week on Wednesday at the same time. Keep watching and listening to Parliament.
On the Vice President's question time.
Questions for oral answer understanding order number 76.
For a matter to be admitted, it has to be of recent occurrence.
Continue watching Parliament TV, a channel dedicated to bring Parliament closer to you.
My eParliament mobile application. First, download the app on either Play Store or App Store and install. After installation, open the app. Step 1. Register your personal information, that's your names, gender, NRC, and date of birth. Step 2. Add your contact information, your email, phone number, and home address. Step 3. Select your constituency. Step 4. Create your 4-digit PIN. At this point, the system will send an SMS to your mobile number with a one-time passcode. Step 5. Confirm with one-time passcode that was sent to your mobile. Step 6. Sign in using your phone number and the 4-digit PIN. And Step 7. Create your submission and submit. My eParliament, bringing Parliament closer to you.
Blackout Media. Uyu moyo
kamal. Body typical and I see a vandal. Now ule muchili na oni opo. Na kupenda chobeka. Niwe na yedota. Umuwaila no watching. Baby you are my last piece. My unfinished pass. Imyakasha kulosha. Eposha kwina baby.Ivitani vina ninga kama. Oh, ngati si thank you. Mawe udi mama. Sininga ese kubalala. Baby when I ne oni do die. Baby when I ne paka kumanda. No mawe udi mama. Sininga ese kubalala. Baby when I ne oni do die. Baby when I ne paka kumanda. Kumanda yete. Yo, let's raise his name in the game, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, Mr. Franco. Let me talk to him. Okay, Tetimbe, let me say the truth. Mwana vyo kuteka nyakari wa fesi mood. Butterflies in my tummy, love through the roof. Okay, let's mukari, mami ndio proof. You're like a 90s R&B nimble. Sophisticated, but if it is simple. Pretty kama simbi, confessional pimple. Ulengesa bokwatila bakamba bali single. How can I say how I feel for you? Ninga kane mabine na my deal for you. Sondi gwera jini gwere I can kill for you. I said jera bolo kopa I can steal for you. We're not talking for hours on the phone again. Mupondo ambokala manje born again. I just left the house but I wanna go home again. Nanze whole sober, namo feel a whole again. And I'll never be a whole again. Hopeless romantic and as a chimo hooligan. And I hope you can see when it change. I never saw you coming. I went to a ninja. This day's 19. Nishi Calibondi ninja. You taste like honey. X as a monga ginger. Uyo mutima wako I will never injure. You know why? Ndaba yuma we udi mama. Sininga ese kubalala. Baby when I ne oni do die. Baby when I ne paka kumanda. Yuma we udi mama. Sininga ese kubalala. Baby when I ne oni do die. Baby when I ne paka kumanda. Kumanda yete.
Cuban plays high volume called JT Mafia.
It's a big machine. 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 Ninyanchi boy. It's a big machine. Dibaku lava. It's a big machine. Tabanga shenchito. It's a big machine. Batote leniko. It's a big machine. Ninyanchi boy. It's a big machine. Dibaku lava. It's a big machine. Tamanga kapito. Tabanga shenchito. Batote leniko. Tawacha. Ukulumitangi boom. Mudilo wapya. Nakapse. Incredible life ile sana totela sana. Lisancho. Woma bonse bambira no kutashapo. Kapeka peka bumba komanda wa mushiri nyantu kapo. Wengi la pati li munsto ngefula panganda ya kula kano. Emi ni nakoba tetu bakwani shenishi mbishtero pini bokosa. Ni bolimba. Balesi nga papa talikuchira pa Mount Kilimanjaro peak. Bachinja nga filter. Basunga nga wilpa. Bapisha majudan. Babuta nga silver. Software installed name with discipline mentality. Nga waba muna kasomina tao mtu wa muno ube chalo chimbi. It's a big machine. 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 Ninyanchi boy. It's a big machine. Dibaku lava. It's a big machine. Tabanga shenchito. It's a big machine. Batote leniko. It's a big machine. Ninyanchi boy. It's a big machine. Dibaku lava. It's a big machine. Tamanga kapito. Tabanga shenchito. Batote leniko. It's a big machine. It's a big
Rocks.
It's rocks.
It's the sun.
I'm in love with all my life, nigga baza no napsa. I'm hoping Lelo brings a new chapter. Sichikondi is the money that I'm after. Need to find the plug monga adapter. Sikuti ife city baza monga baby. Timafaka motisa puta mona baby. Mulungu wao ni same na watu. Ni bantu nao baina mpuno na tomatu. Or maybe tika gwada city gwada same. Or maybe pempelo yatu ilumu long term. Chuma chatu chizafika tika kota. Apa ABX 12 is the motor. Babusa bali be content bati bali na chuma. Bafuna ka 5 kwacha kenine nako nikatuma. Kaende towards Hilux. Baby mo addition in a minus. Kaya usheti zaka kwira chuma. Yomanga konyumba. Kaya chilungu patumba. Kaya mabuto yebezi anitesha yani kwira. Nika yesa paliponse ni mambira. Chinga wame nikalile mulijira. Right now nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now. Nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now. Nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now. Nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now.
Dimusepelo wa mano na rigraja. PhD tema pepa ya kufoja. No job banzanga bainza mafodia. Very shocked, that's why nipe mafodia. Ninkuda paba fyash tetindale. Plan B qualifyo kuba musician. Nayo yani koso kuba chado chishane. Sunga kale chesta benga bachabe chabe. Songa junta njeka la fe one posi. Limbiku success twadio cha fuse. Aba kutupa connect they refuse. Limbi pa mulilo ifo tu sende chushi.
Nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now. Nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now. Nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now. Nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now. Bali mane sana pange badi mo time yake, but I don't mean it's less of a daddy. Anaye sana pushing asikulu. Fulu, he's the best of a daddy. Generational wealth can start with you. Fight for your life, you ain't gonna see her too. Osa dekelela pressure ikusukuruze. Osa leka boti ya mundu wina ikukruze. Usipange ukapeza chuma. Chinja bibi ufake mokapuma. Masnika na macheni monga D's more. E life even when you have you will need more. Yeah, badu tenjele usaleke bakunyunye. Sunga queenie ija kersi asatunye. Satana akatune. Bati mairo sizibika malume. Kaya usheti zaka kwira chuma. Yomanga konyumba. Kaya chilungu patumba. Kaya mabuto yebesi anitesha yani kwira. Nika yesa paliponse ni mambira. Chinga wame nikalile mulijira. Right now nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now. Nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now. Nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now. Nina mashoko niganza vina right now. Right now, right now, right now.
I'm in love with the big man.
No, didn't go. Yeah. God knows you try your level best. I'm meeting them mindset. My go bora. Mativutam pachiteko. Oko mapali fanzi oko merera. When you turn to your right, to your left, upungo wona oko merera. Zuendera chibare kapena katangari. Mangati kumamba, Yehova watire mbera. Yes. Muntu ndani anopadiko. Anganeni no. Ena amaika chingira. Komangati kumamba atereka yako iwe uipura. Be patient, bikira. Gati mulungu sama muziva. Asamuziwira pa iwe. Gati lesa sama muziva. Asamuziwira chayapa. Sana muone Father God in action. Asamuone na pa iwe. Chile onyowa ama ya samoto. Akafunze Mose. Banyanda akala pasa identichete kumbetera mapempero ana ake. Oh Jehova amaona alikonzeka pansi patua, no rush achita zintu mundawi yake yoikika, amuye mulungu sachedwa chauta safulumira komandawi yake ikangokwana woderera zazi wanzo ngati mulungu samamuziva azamuziwira pa iwe atiresa samamuziva azamuziwira chapa sana muone Father God in action azamuonera pa iwe mikango enjala kumango tiangana akafuse Danieli tikola eni timata kukwezera maudindo akafuse Yosefe. And you walk in the fell. Musaka he can fell. Dog on a fire on the nail. Lati mulungu sama muziva azamuziwira pa iwe. Lati mulungu sama muziva azamuziwira chapa. Lati mpambe sana muone azamuonera pa iwe. Chirero nyowa amaya sambuto. Bananda mata kulambula nsiu akafunza Mose. I'll never give up on love. Mairo kirikiti mojikoni, inewe